Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 41 of Ladies Wot Pod.
Ladies Wot Pod.
Actually, it's the lunchtime after the day before. 5:30 kickoff, a weird time.
Oh, it threw me. It threw me completely.
It really didn't work. People didn't know what to do when it came to food. You know, several people were clutching a sausage roll, helping them get through the match. You know,
I nearly lost my sausage roll, and that not in a euphemistic way, but I got my sausage roll, taking it back to my seat because I'd been haloing, and I bumped into a prop. And there's something about me, baked goods, and our front rows, and they seem to. I don't know whether they think small ginger woman, I'll have her food.
And was that the Scottish prop?
The Scottish slightly injured prop.
Slightly injured himself playing football, Elliot Miller-Mills prop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least he did. He was a little.
He got said sausage roll off you, though.
No, he didn't. To be fair, he didn't just lunge for it. He did say something along the lines of, I could do with that. And I went, well, you can't. So
go get your own.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, well, hey ho.
I know I didn't know what day it was because it was a night match, but it felt later than it was.
Very strange day. Very strange day.
Very bizarre.
So we played Exeter Chiefs in the second game of the season at home. Thank God we finally got home. It was a good crowd. It wasn't a complete sellout. There were one or two empty seats, but not many. But it was great to see such a great crowd who were in fine voice, I thought.
Very much so. Very much so. Especially defensively, I thought.
Yes. Well, more of that shortly, because that was awesome.
Yeah.
So we played Exeter Chiefs. We won. Took 4 points home. They took 2. And at this stage of the season, wins. I mean, the equivalent game last season.
Didn't they only take 1 point home?
No, they took 2 because they got 4 tries and a losing bonus point. Yeah. I thought they got 4. Well, whatever. They got something out of the game.
They got something out of it, yeah.
But at this stage of the season, I'm quite happy that we're winning because the equivalent game, our first game at home last season, was my 500th, and we lost. So, starting the season at home with a nice win. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, it was a good game. You've got to admit, you got value for money out of that one. And we looked much sharper. We looked like we were enjoying ourselves again. I felt the Bath. Sometimes it looked a bit of a trial. You understand why? Because the crowd were feeling the same. I think the midfield worked very well. I thought Hutch and Dingers were on song. Shall we say?
Yeah, they were.
There was just some really good slick moves. Chocky doing
some of the moves were straight out of last season, weren't they?
Yeah,
they were.
Yeah. And it was just great to see. You know, they were clearly having fun. I enjoyed the first try, partly because Chocky knows to run towards the red hat. Very good, well done. And then Alex Coles appeared from nowhere and wasn't quite the speed of the world's slowest try, but it wasn't far off. But he appeared in the right place at the right time and then duly celebrated. But Curtis, of course, being Curtis, was having none of the he gets to celebrate because he then shot through my frame celebrating too. So, yes. So I thought it was a very well worked try. Very, very good indeed.
Very, very good. I thought the way Trocky just burst through was like, whoa, how did he do that?
Yeah.
He was immense.
Excellent facials from the big man too. Really, really good facials.
Good.
So you'll see on the photos later. So, and then, it for two, I mean, it was two sides. Exeter clearly won, they're not going to come to lose, but they were, they'd had, what was it that TNT was saying? They'd had some tough conversations. Well, when do you not have tough conversations? But anyway.
Well, every time you lose, you're going to have tough conversations,
exactly.
Aren't you?
It's not going to be, I'm going back for round me rainbows around the door again. It's
yes. I should imagine the gardens last Monday. There was a lot of tough conversations going on. especially with a certain man from
defence coach. Certainly, yes. So, and so I thought they didn't create a great deal. And ironically, the one thing they created in the first half, they scored from, which was somewhat frustrating. But there you go. Yeah, and it didn't rain. I'm so pleased it didn't rain. We had a lot of anniversaries, or
celebrations, or whatever milestones.
So congratulations to Sammy Graham, whose 50th appearance. Very good. And then Chunya, top work. And Chunya, it was his 50th Premiership appearance because, of course, he played for London Irish. And I think Chunya is growing into his role really well.
Absolutely. Saw that pre-season. He started, didn't he, with Callum Hunter-Hill was it the first one?
Yeah.
And I thought that looks a very promising partnership. And I thought last night, again, yes, Chunya, you are really growing into yourself, if that makes sense.
No, it does. He's blossoming. He's definitely blossoming.
Yeah.
Although I don't think I'd ever say that to his face.
Oh, I might.
Yes, so and then I think there's some other anniversaries, but I've missed them. So apologies if I have. I had bumped into fortunately not literally, our new one of our new locks.
Oh yes,
Will Spencer, on my way down to it, and his comment was, "They're all so young."
That's very true. Very true.
But somebody mentioned that to TNT because in their heads there was only one young team out there yesterday, and that was Exeter.
Yes. And we think, don't we? Having done a quick look at them, there were two young teams out, but they had more people over 30 than we did.
Yeah, so. And ours was younger. Our scrum half was 19.
Yeah, well done, 20. Archie.
Yeah, well done, Archie. Yeah, no, I thought Archie looked good yesterday. He looked good. The person who was just being horrible everywhere was Tom Pearson.
Oh, bless him. Yeah, doing what he should be doing on the pitch is what you mean.
Yes. Yeah, but he was just being horrible. He was just, He
was marauding. He was a skirmisher. That's what he was doing.
A skirmisher.
Yeah,
absolutely. So he was putting it about the place in a good way, in a really good way.
Yeah, I think
our coaches on
TNT did mention him, didn't they? I think in a
did they
positive.
Actually noticed him? Well done, that was good.
I think they did. Yeah.
Our coaches, on the other hand, oh my lord, they went through the ringer. When I think it was a combination of Manny and Trocky dropped the ball literally inches from the try line, and Josh Kemeny picked it up to not score.
Yes,
the TNT guys spotted Vesti having a bit of a rant. Which of course the crowd found amusing, and then they went back because Vesti noticed that they'd noticed, and of course he was all smiles and waving. Yes. Meanwhile, Mr. Radford looked like he was going through the ringer at the end of the game. Bless him.
Weren't we all?
Right, but his charges were doing a remarkable job, given how what was going on with the Exeter attack. There were some good defensive sets, which a few years ago, we keep saying this, but a few years ago, it'd have been like a revolving door. So, but it did mean that our defence coach did look like he was going through the ringer, bless him.
He did. But entertainment value, our coach's bench, way better than Exeter's. They all just sat there like waxworks. Our lot animated. They always are. But, Dowse is the one who looks least stressed, because he's got them to stress for him, I suppose.
Well, yes. He looked calmness personified. So, yes.
I think he has said in interviews, hasn't he, that he does. Vesty does it so he doesn't have to,
Yes.
Vesty
And
will
he
have
used to
these
write copious
explosions.
notes and get more and more wound up. And now he realised, that's not actually doing anybody any favours. So he's very calm. So we ended up. So it was a good win, I think. Yes, it ended up being much tighter than we would have liked, and there's a lot of folks saying we should have gone for the fourth try. Well, maybe, but actually, just getting the win under our belts and getting going in the season. Extra no mugs. That it might be the young team of 10 that TNT call them, but they're no mugs. They're coached well. They know what they're about, and yes, I can say that the coaching team they did want to go for the fourth try, but in the end, kicking the ball off the field was the right thing to do.
Absolutely, absolutely, because we were beginning to get a bit loose.
Yeah.
We were a man down still at that point, weren't we? So I think pragmatism had to come into being there.
Now, but when we were having our little chat before we started, you rightly wanted to praise both sets of front rows.
Oh, yes. Ours. I wasn't watching what Exeter would do.
Well, much as we love Erin.
Yes. Yeah. Lovely to see Erin back and playing well. But no, I just thought our pack and certainly the starting front row and the replacement front row, I thought were epic yesterday. Big Trev doing Big Trev things. And grinning at people. That must be quite scary, actually, when he's just sort of made your spine contract, and then you get up and you look at him and he's smiling at you and possibly saying something to you that you have no idea what he's saying. That must be quite scary. That must be quite scary. Love Big Trev.
Because he would have been propping against Scott Seo, so an Australian trying to understand what a Geordie's saying would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, Curtis was Curtis, just rushing around all over the shop. Manny, I thought, had a good game. Again,
like Antonia is growing. He's growing into his role
exactly.
Really well. Yeah. And fair dues to Fergs. He's coaching them brilliantly. And then the guys who came on to replace them, I thought did a really good job. Your Luke Greens. Yeah, I mean, Luke Green and Tom West were playing their first competitive home games at the Gardens.
At the Gardens, they must have been blown away. Actually, I hadn't thought about that. But that when I thought we were brilliant defensively as the 16th man, you really felt that when they come on you Saints rang around the Gardens, you could almost see the team steal. Really reinforced
Tom
it.
Looked like, I said to him in the changing room afterwards, he looked like he was having fun. How often have you seen Tom West in his career run around a paddock with a grin on his face? He was genuinely enjoying, charging through the midfield and making some hard yards. So it's great to see that.
And Scottish Trev, Trev, Robbie, brilliant. Just again.
Yeah,
took up where Curtis left off, charging around like a mad thing. That'll be because they're both barking mad, in a good way. They're hookers.
Well, they're hookers. It goes without saying. You have to be slightly bonkers to play the part. Anyway,
you do.
Yeah, in that position.
Yeah.
So we headed off into the changing room. We do need to name our Ladies Wot Pod man of the match. Finn Smith was given the accolade by TNT. I didn't take photographs of Finn because Premiership Rugby had a photographer there. Oh, hello. Yes.
Can I just say, I thought that was absolutely right, because I thought, again, somebody else watching him mature, and the way he read that game, and made the right decisions, the drop goal, and there was at one point he took the ball, must have been in the first half, he took the ball on the right wing and could have become isolated, but his rugby brain is so astute, he could see that and ran back into the support. And just little things like that. And his support for Archie McParlin when he came on was tremendous.
Yeah.
You could really,
No, he's we are, as we've said many times, we are so lucky that he came to the Saints, because he is a fine player who's still learning his trade, ironically, but is doing it in such an amazing way. He's he is a wonderful, wonderful playmaker, and a fine team player. But we and the Ladies Wot Pod, of course, much as we might agree with TNT in one sense, we have to pick our own that cannot be the official one. And shall I put my little vote?
Go on.
Tom Pearson.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
I just thought he was absolutely everywhere. He was being annoying. He was carrying the ball brilliantly. He was supporting his mates. I mean, just had an
defensively strong.
Yeah, absolutely on the money. Brilliant performance by TP. So I think, thank you, Liz. I think. I
mean, to be honest, there's a fair few candidates we could have picked.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Dingers and Hutch had brilliant games. Could absolutely, it could have been one of them. It could have been it could have been some of the front row. But I just think his overall impact on the game, I think TP.
I think he's again just coming of age. I mean, he's still ridiculously young as well, isn't he? He's awesome. So, he was awesome. I thought.
Well done, TP. I'd actually before the match, I did the community tournament on the back pitches, the under 11s, which of course is when lots of teens turn up, because the prize out of the under 11s, it's known as the Defender Cup, is you get a trip to Twickenham to represent your the club that hosted you. So there's always loads of teams. I did about an hour and a half of wandering around with my bag, which was quite heavy, taking photographs. I didn't get to every team, which was a bit of a shame, but I think I got about a dozen of them. But it was great to see the kids running around in the sort of semi-sunshine, and they're incredibly skillful at 10. It's remarkable what they do. So, and the community team do a really, really good job of putting these tournaments on. So well done to Ben Lawrence and his crew. And then I ended up in the barn.
Oh,
and the team of the match were Ely Tigers. Now, Ely Tigers are literally 15, 20 minutes up the road from where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
And they had everybody from their under 7s through to their under 15s, under 16s there in the barn being coached by the community team. And they had the joy of Tom Lockett and Jade Garside, who were there. Tom Lockett being out-sprinted by a 7-year-old was one of the funnier things that I've seen. But I love the way the players get stuck into that. They're really good with the kids, and the kids absolutely love it. So that was good fun in the barn. Jake's eyebrow is definitely on the mend, and it's going to be a very attractive scar. I think you're right. I think that'll be one that'll be very useful in future years.
I was just thinking about the community team. They earn their corn, don't they, on a Saturday, because they not only have to deal with herding loads of feral kids in the morning, but then they have to deal with the Guard of Honour at the start of the game, and then the parade round the pitch at half time.
Don't forget the big shirt. You got to do the big shirt.
The big shirt. Yeah, everything, and looking after Bernie, of course, is their job. So, Bernie was very, very small yesterday. I thought Bernie was
tiny. Bernie, yes, he's shrunk.
Tiny Bernie,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
There's been a lot of rain.
Yes, we've gone from 6'5" Bernie to tiny Bernie. Yes,
Tiny Bernie. Yeah.
Now I have a little plea. Thank you to everybody who came to see me yesterday. There was a steady stream of our Scottish correspondent, Mr. Winton, who'd shot down from Scotland and made it to the game.
Yes. Yeah.
Noticed his Guinness.
Don't keep mentioning him. Don't keep mentioning him.
I noticed his Guinness had been quaffed quite quickly. So.
Yes, it's a hell of a journey to get there.
Hell of a journey, and he was enjoying his Guinness, so well done, sir. I have a little plea, because obviously I do a lot of stuff during the week with the club. I do stuff on match day. Please don't ask me about the medical welfare of the players. We all want any player that's injured, and you know the list because it gets published. We want them to get better as soon as possible. I don't know. When I say I don't know, it's not because I'm fibbing, because I'm not. I don't know. I've always said to anybody, don't tell me. If you don't want me to talk about it, don't tell me. But also, it's inappropriate. These guys are people. And you wouldn't like it if, you found out that somebody was asking about your medical welfare in the middle of the street, in the high street. So just don't do it. It's not right. We're all concerned about, there are some obvious candidates that I'm not going to name. We're all always concerned about players when they're injured. But I am not the person to ask, because I'm not going to tell you, and B, I don't know. So please don't do it. And when it comes to knowing which way they're kicking off, please fill your boots, because sometimes I know. Although I do find it funny, and Dave Rogers from Getty Images is one of the offenders here, when somebody goes, well, why are they going that way? Couldn't you got it right? It's like, hold on a minute. I'm not the person. Talk to George, Sergeant Wilson.
Do you not have anything to do with the coin toss?
Strangely, no. I get a lovely text, usually from Lizzie, or Kev Buckley comes and tells me. Sometimes the referee, as he's running past, tells me. But which is great, because I know which end to sit at. But my influence over which way the coin lands and what the captains decide is nil. Yes. So we went down the slope.
We went down the slope in the first half.
Down the slope. Now, our slope, as we've said many times, compared to... Actually, the IT department, my IT department, Dr. Jones, bumped into a couple who were at their first Premiership game yesterday.
Oh.
And they've been to Goldington Road, and they travel over from Suffolk. And they've been to Goldington Road, but they came to their... What a game to pick! So, yes, so they would have noticed the slope. Nah, nothing in comparison to Goldington Road. But, yes. I have no influence.
Strange that, Claire. Just thinking about influence and Sergeant Wilson, did we have anybody with a standout Sergeant Wilson engagement with the referee award yesterday?
Engagement with the referee.
There was somebody I thought at the time, and I've forgotten who it was now.
I actually think that Adam Leal was influenced by Finn, who looked totally bewildered when he dropped the goal. And you could see Adam Leal's like, oh, perhaps I ought to check it. And to be fair on the AR, who was on my side of the pitch, he went, generally I wasn't fast enough to see whether it went over the bar. So he explained why. So I actually think Finn, just by looking completely bewildered, influenced Adam Leal to actually call upstairs, because it woke up Grumpy Carly, who clearly nodded off at that minute.
Matthew.
Yes. Yeah. And went, what?
Why are you asking me? Why you asked me to check something? What do you mean?
I was having a lovely dream.
The way he came back with, well, that was a drop goal.
So, Finn, yes. I think Colsey
wasn't it.
I think Colsey did a good job, because
he did. It was Colsey. It was Colsey about the hooker going down.
Yes.
It was Colsey, and I thought, yes, that's because the other one was the hooker, their hooker, bleating about the scrum, and
Right.
Adam Leal said to him, well, he said, I've not noticed that. That's where he said, oh, every time they're under pressure, they're standing up. And Adam Leal said, I've not noticed that, but it could be that your hooking's not been so sharp. So if you improve that... Whoa!
Ooh, sharp as a tack, Mr. Leal.
Yes, so that was quite funny.
Yes,
So,
it did seem that
do your
Exeter's
job and we'll all be
extra
happy.
hooker was to whinge, because Mr. Frost was replaced by Jack Yendall, who was just moaning mini on legs, bless him.
Yeah.
So I think Colsey certainly, definitely Sergeant Wilson, yes. Sergeant Wilson's clearly getting fit, because if he decides it's something that he needs to talk to, he's got to run miles to get to.
If he's called up, Captain's oh bugger.
Yes, I think Sergeant Wilson Award this week, I think, goes to Alex Coles, but with a good bewildered moment from Finn. But yes, but good call there. Yes, Mrs. Saunders.
So that. Excellent. I did think, just while we're on the subject of the officials and Grumpy Carly, I did feel, not for me to body shame anybody, but I did feel one of the assistant refs looked like he'd summered well, but not necessarily wisely.
Yes.
Not seen someone that shape on the touch. For a fair few years.
It's been a while, yes. It's good that rugby is a sport for all shapes and sizes.
All shapes and sizes, yeah. Well done.
Well done. So we went in the changing room, and
yes.
I do love the changing room. They've had it redecorated with all the new branding. And I'm sure that the new logo on the floor is bigger, because of course, I'm not allowed to stand on it because I'm not wearing boots.
Yeah.
And so I have to sort of dance around it. But it seems that the dancing's getting a bit more. Maybe I'm getting old. I don't know. But it seems harder with this one than with the other one. But anyway, there was much singing, as you would hope. There were 4 leaders, and it's all been seen on film because Lewis was there. Lewis Demon was there filming it. So it was Sammy G, Finn, Rory and Chunya. And I genuinely don't know why it was Finn and Rory, and I apologise, but it was, as nominated by Mr. Dowson, and they all sang with gusto. I do love the fact that everybody sings, and in the back of my photos you can see Dowse desperately trying to take his boot off quickly as the song was and it's everybody. So Kath Lester, the doctor, is in my photos, giving it loads. Everyone thinks it's the team. It's not. It's everybody. I think the only 2 people who aren't singing, because we're concentrating on recording the singing, is me and Lewis. Everybody else is giving it loads, which is, I think, utterly brilliant. And it's still a bit of a novelty for the Academy lads. They're still very excited about it. Which is great. So a really good Shoe Army song, and so.
I mean, we do feel sorry for you having to do that week in and week out, go into the changing room, be surrounded by these wonderful, lovely young men, and in fact, your IT department, we've said it's not fair making her do this every week. Perhaps they should, make somebody else do it.
I wonder why. Yes. Yes, it is actually quite. It is one of my. It's like a fishing challenge. Can you get a decent photograph of what's going on? Because they're actually facing in multiple directions. So, and of course, I can't. I don't really want to move because Lewis is moving. Because so the 2 of us moving would end in a terrible tragedy. So what I tend to do is I do some matches at one end of the room and then some matches at the other end of the room. And it worked, because if in the book that we talked about, the Champions book that was published, there are quite a few photographs of both ends of the room. So varying it is definitely the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But it was a well signed. And then I was asked to take several photographs. So obviously Chunya wanted some. Scottish Trev and Sammy G, he wanted a photograph for Sam. So very good. And then the front rows, Matt Ferguson and his charges. A lovely group photograph, which Fergs is very pleased with. And then they got rid of Fergs and just had a photograph on their own. So they.
Oh, lovely! Bless them.
Bless them. But as I say, I think it's great to see the likes of Luke Green and Tom West settling in so fast.
Fantastic! Yeah, really good.
Really good.
And Callum Hunter-Hill.
Yes, I feel Hill, who was really embarrassed and said, "I shouldn't be in this photo." To which they all looked, "Yes, you should."
Oh,
so sweet.
Interesting.
Yes,
interesting insight into possibly the ethos of his previous club.
Well, it was more that he hadn't played, and they were going, "No, you're part of the squad. Come on, in you come." Yeah. Tarek did it. Actually, to be fair, Tarek did exactly the same thing with the front rowers. He said, "No, it's the 6 front rowers that played." And but Chunya was having none of it. He wanted Callum there, so there you go.
Yeah, I think that's good, because I do think that is a partnership, a second row partnership for the future.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely. So so it's good.
And we will always miss Mooney. Let's face it, we will always miss Mooney. But I do feel Chunya could well step into Mooney's boots.
Yes, we will always miss Mooney.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, just up the road in Coventry, Bedford Blues played Coventry, and it wasn't a good day at the office.
No. Who scored the try?
I don't know, actually. Shall I have a look? What I can say is that Finn
Brown... focus on the positive.
Focus on the positive. Finn Brown made his debut, so well done, Finn.
Well done, Finn.
Yeah, and well battled. And, some days it just doesn't go for you. We've all been there before, haven't we? Shall I have a quick look? Let's have a quick look and see who scored the try. Championship Rugby. It was an old Saintsman, Ocean Heffernan.
Oh, right. One for the front row union there.
One for the front row union. So,
I was just thinking about Finn Brown, and I was having a conversation with some of the parents before the game. Well, I say some, Litchfield and Mrs. Hendy. And we were talking about the Finns. We've now got Finns. We've got Georges, we've got Toms, and we've got Smiths, plural. I mean, it is now getting to a point of ridiculousness.
Archie's plural. Don't forget Archie's plural.
Archie's plural as well. I mean,
it's getting very complicated. Yes.
Could we not have, somebody, Gervais Farquhar or something, just to...
No, we're not Bath. Anyway.
Oh, that's very... Oh God! Is that there?
No, Tarquin is the name of their.
Tarquin is. Oops. Do I care? No, I don't know why. Yeah. Yes, I just thought it is good. So we have a choice of Finns, we have a choice of Smiths, we have a choice of plethora of Georges, Toms, and that's it, really, isn't it?
Yes. But it's
Archies.
And Archies. Don't forget the Archies. Yes. Yes. So in the women's game, it's WXV time in Canada in the case of Scotland, and in South Africa in the case of England. Scotland got off to a flyer against Italy, 19-0, and it was Rachel Malcolm's 50th cap.
Oh, brilliant. Well done. Well done, Rachel and the girls. Yeah. That's good.
And England play today. So, and we have to congratulate Beau Wescombe Evans, who's making her debut for England.
Whoa!
I mean, it only seems like 5 minutes. She was making her debut for Loughborough.
Yeah.
Well done, her.
Oh. Rapid rise.
I think this WXV competition is really clever because the 3 leagues, it gives each of the teams something to play for.
Yes.
And the fact they're happening at the same time generates an interest. So
Yes,
yes.
good idea.
Although I did hear that one of the crowds, was it Australia versus Wales? There was a crowd of 261. Yeah, that's not good, is it? Media watch.
Media. Yeah, okay. Well,
the couple of things. First off, Look East. I'd like to congratulate Look East because they've been doing their 60 years of Look East.
60 years of ignoring Northampton, yes.
Well, no. And I did think of you when they featured us in several ways. There was the 2000 Heineken Cup win, 2014 Premiership win, and they did quite a lovely little piece on the recent, earlier this year Premiership win. So yeah. Brilliant. Just for you, there was no mention of trampolining. Good. Gymnastics.
Young's Brothers. Have they mentioned the Young's Brothers yet?
The Young's Brothers.
There's been a change at the top. There must have been a change at the top.
So well done, Look East.
Well done, Look East.
For recognising, there is a top flight rugby club that wins things in your region. Well done.
Unlike Greatest Hits Radio Northamptonshire, who mentioned Cobbler's loss this morning and then made no mention. So I'm thinking,
did they lose to Mansfield yesterday? Oh, gosh.
They lost to Mansfield, 2-0. So I thought, well, they might mention, no mention of rugby at all.
Well, talking of no mention, TNT, who were there yesterday, were there two teams playing? Because their preview, and they only had 15 minutes for the kickoff because, of course, it was back to back with the previous games. There was only one team playing, and it wasn't us.
The young team at that.
Young team. Exeter.
Young team.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, Pete Nuttall, our lovely PA, why did they ask for Ben Kay for the half-time? Half-time kick a ball thing when clearly he can't kick a ball.
Probably that's why.
Yes, because I think wanted their money. Yes,
Cinch money is fairly safe, I feel.
Yes, as evidence as he wiped out some poor woman in the cinch stand. So TNT, please, can you get more balance in your coverage? I mean, I know you only had 15 minutes, but you didn't have to spend all 15 talking about.
Can we just remind you who are the current champions? Because this seems to have been forgotten.
Ali Eakin did make reference to the fact we were champions lots of times during his commentary. Ali also, as you know, because you were there, was at training last week. So he'd clearly done his research. So in terms of his commentary, it was very well informed. But in terms of the preview, it was like, it's the cameraman. Had our slope got him and he couldn't actually walk his way up the slope to the other end of the ground to actually look at us.
Well, presumably, he was doing what the director told him to. Or producer, or whoever it is.
Not that I got to talk to Brando, but anyway.
Strange. But it's like in the trailer for this, like all the other teams, and but somebody else has been doing it about which shirt do you prefer out of these, and there's like no mention of Saints. There's
that's Premiership Rugby.
Premiership Rugby. Could we just point out somebody said there are 10 teams in this league, aren't there? Why have you just picked on 4?
Just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Very strange. Yes, very strange approach. I
didn't see the ITV new revamped highlights programme, so I can't possibly comment. And probably I'm too young because it's aimed at the TikTok, old even. It's aimed at the TikTok generation.
No.
Anyway. Walking rugby. Now, my IT department's just come back from walking rugby in Histon, and he's still, in one piece, so that's good. How was walking?
Well, I wasn't there because I got felled by a migraine because we'd been out for lunch on Thursday, and I was driving home. I was thinking, I'm not feeling right. Got home, I thought, I know. I think it was I was tired, and also the pressure's been, the air pressure can trigger them off. So I didn't go to walking rugby. However, the IT department here went to walking rugby, and he said you'd have loved it because we had to share the barn with Bedford.
Oh.
So he said you could have joined in training with Bedford, and I went, no, I couldn't. So they had fun. They didn't. They were like, Bedford were in that half of the barn. And there weren't actually, that would have been a disaster. But yes, so that's.
I did actually ask Tom Lockett and Jake, has anyone managed to get a ball stuck in the roof? And they went, no, but if you look carefully, you can see one trapped behind one of the pillars.
Did they name the guilty party?
No, they were very good. Yes. Well, so well done, walking rugby. Towcester Under 10s and Under 7s.
Those are I don't know. I look a little windswept. It was. I've been out watching them this morning. My goodness me, it was a bit parky. It was more like the end of October than the end of September. But they, the Under 7s was the usual, just chaos. And they've tags and just children running around shouting and having a ball, and coaches just trying to marshal them to stay on the right pitch, really, I think is the most you can hope for. But it's fascinating watching the under 10s now, how the skill training that they do has really ramped up. And I was watching Harry, and I pointed out to him that a lot of the stuff he was doing I'd seen in training on Tuesday. So they're doing the sort of all sorts of things about tackling and jackling and, getting all these skills going down and leaping to their feet before they compete to the ball. And I think, it's going to be fun for Harry when we get to a senior game, either the women or the men, and he can actually see. He'll trigger. Oh, well, that's what I do. So yeah, it's good.
Excellent,
it's really good.
Excellent. And
but there were a lot of
a report from.
We do have a report. We do, and there were a lot of very, very cold children. I have to say, because I think it's happened so suddenly, hasn't it?
It's gone from being quite warm to not.
Yeah, yes. It was very bracing
people
today.
Got caught out yesterday with their. Not bringing a coat or not wearing enough layers. There were a few chilly folks at the end of the game. I just decided to go down the layers route. So I didn't want to wear a coat.
You can always take layers off.
Yeah, you can always take layers off. You can't add them. Yeah.
That's my theory. So we have a report from Harry with a brief appearance by Alfie, who didn't want to be interviewed. But yes, so okay. And here I am with Harry, a very cold Harry night after under 10s training today. What was it like out there, Harry?
It was extremely cold.
And
it was quite fun, but I didn't really do too good since I was too cold.
Too cold. But when you were doing your skills training, what did you do?
We did some things like the Saints.
You did some jackling training, didn't you? And some tackling training. It's very good. And just one moment. And moving to Alfie. Doesn't want to be interviewed. So, next week, what are you doing next week?
We're going to an indoor gym to do some tackling practice.
It's not just a gym though, is it?
It's a fighting gym.
Fighting gym. Yes, lovely. Thanks, Harry. There we go.
Thank you, Harry and Alfie. Double act now.
Yeah. There will be. We'll get there with it. I don't know why Alfie went camera shy.
It's burgeoning. It's one for the future. Definitely one for the future. Tog Watch. I think the thing to say about yesterday's Togs is they're all very friendly, but there weren't many of them.
No.
Yes, very, very. It's only about half a dozen of us. all very busy because both teams were keeping us busy. But I don't think I've seen as few togs for a Premiership match for a while. So I'm not quite sure what was going on. Given it was an almost sell-out crowd, I'm quite surprised. There were 3 games on yesterday.
Yes.
Quins, Saracens and us. And it could have been actually... Why is it with the schedulers? Why can't they spread the games out geographically? We have 3 in the southwest, and yesterday we had 2 in London. But did they not think? I mean, anyway.
Yeah. So and this weekend we've had 2 in the East Midlands, haven't we? Because Leicester.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What the hell? Anyway, I had a good time with the cameras. The results are on my laptop over there, so I won't share them because I haven't published them yet. But yeah, it was good. It was good. I have to do the double lens thing where I swap lenses at half time because, of course, we had a sunset. I had high hopes for the sunset. I thought it was going to be a nice, rosy glow, and then it
wasn't.
A bit damp squib, really. But there you go. But it was good. It was good. The cameras went very well. Now, next week, we've got quite a busy week because on Friday evening, it's Harlequins at Franklin's Gardens in round 3 of the Gallagher Premiership. And then on Saturday, the big game, the one that Nathan Smith is really looking forward to. I imagine he looks forward to most games. But Bristol Bears come to the Gardens for round 1 of the PWR.
Yep. Yeah, very exciting.
I think Bedford are at home to Hartbury on the Saturday. And as I said to Sherpa too, I can't be in 2 places at once. So I won't be at the Bedford game. I did the first game of their season against Goldie, and I'm now doing the first game of...
It's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. What I didn't realise was, our dear friend Simon Robinson was telling me that I knew it took 2.5 hours to play last week's Lightning game, but I didn't realise there were 2 reasons behind it. One was the lightning, which amused him no end. Well, it would do, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Lightning or off for lightning. But the other reason was that they had 2 HIAs that happened at the same time. And you have to have a doctor pitch side. So because the 2 doctors were busy dealing with the HIAs, they had to wait until one of them became available again before they could restart the game.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I didn't realise that. So,
now you know.
Hope to be there. All depends on goings on up north, whether or not will be up to see my newest grandchild.
Ooh.
Who imminent any time.
Any time. Right. Well, I will definitely be there because I haven't got a new. That would be a bit of a shock to Miss J.
It would, yes.
Yes. I will be pitch side on Friday and on Saturday, which would be great.
So, probably still be at Harlequins on Friday, one way or another. I imagine that could be.
It should be a cracking game.
Yeah.
And then we've got even more Smiths on the pitch. Anyway.
Oh, good Lord, yes. Yeah.
So we haven't got any Joneses, but we've got some Smiths. So yeah, it should be. I mean, last year's game was a great game. So it should be fun. And,
should be
so it's a short week for everybody concerned because of course Quins played yesterday and we played yesterday. So it's a short, sharp burst, and then we're back in it on Friday night.
Yep.
It's already. Yep. It's all. That's the other thing. Have TNT not noticed? There was a lot of talk yesterday. Oh, and it's only 10 teams this season. Yeah, it's like it was only 10 teams last season.
Last season as well. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
It's exactly the same. It's like, anyway. Yeah. So already we're into round 3. Incredible.
I know. It's very very strange. It was really nice to be back though and seeing people. And I'm just having a WhatsApp chat with the friend today and yesterday, saying it's amazing. On the one hand, the summer seemed to last for a long time, but now we're back. It seems to have gone in the blink of an eye. It's very strange.
It's been very, very, very strange. I'm not tempting fate by saying I have shot how many games so far? Oh, all the pre-season games, and obviously the first championship game and the first 2 rounds of the Gallagher Premiership.
You what?
I haven't been rained on. Trying to say it quietly. I haven't been rained on.
What? I think. Let's hope that's not the commentator's curse, but that's quite. Given the weather we've had in the past 10 days, that is quite remarkable. It was that it was Bath.
Yeah, exactly. And it was helped by the fact that the kickoff was delayed at Goldington Road. Otherwise, I would have got drenched. So, yes. It's remarkable. I expect very shortly to get soaked. I'm not naive enough to think. Bear in mind that the first pre-season training shoot I did, I ended up in a deluge. So, I have already experienced.
Oh, yes. Well, that's the universe is still getting you then.
Yeah, don't worry. I mean, it's just giving me a bit of I think it's lulling me into a false sense of security. Only I'm refusing to be lulled. Yes, at some point I will drown.
Yeah.
Saint Supporters Club we haven't talked about. How are they?
We haven't. No. We have new badges, which will be available. They arrived at the back end of last week, but we weren't. So the members who want their badges can come and collect them from the Saint Supporters Club stand barrel in the village before the game on Friday, and we'll tick you off on the list. And they're commemorative for the 10-year wins, so they're really rather fine badges. So if you want to come and collect your badges, we had some new members sign up. On the coaches front, we've had to cancel the coach to Bristol because the take up was just not happening. So rather than risk keeping it open and then having half a dozen people to try and cancel, which isn't fair, we've closed it. But the coaches to Leicester are running, and Saracens, they're the 2 next away games. If you want to travel with like-minded fans, the coaches can be a good laugh, and we are hoping to get players on one of those coaches. Don't know which ones yet. We will see. We've got a meeting next week after next. So
brilliant. Wow.
But
so lots going on with the
lots going on with lots of plans that when we have our meeting with the club, we hope to be able to share some of those when we know how they're going to formulate. But all good. Shame about the coaches, but I mean, Friday night down to the southwest was always going to be a big ask because if you're working, you've got to take a day off really to go on the coach. You might manage to get away with half a day if you're driving yourself, but it's and people make a weekend of it more, and so
I don't think Dr. Jones and I have decided how we're going to play it yet. It's not it's not been a happy hunting ground of late. The place that shall not be named. Mind you, that match on Friday night, my God.
What a cracker. We really ought to mention that young prop. And Genge, to be fair. I mean, if you haven't watched Friday night's game, there was a young academy prop. Was he 1920?
He was one of the under-20s winners.
Yeah, and he came on and schooled Ellis Genge in the scrums. And when Genge was replaced, wisely, he waved him off. He went, and at the end of the game, Ellis Genge made a beeline for him, gave him a big hug, and there was real front row union.
It was classy. It wasn't classy the way he started on him because it was a bit obvious. It was brilliant how the young lad retaliated and even better when he waved him off. But but Genji's, Ellis's response at the end of the game was absolutely spot on.
Superb.
And we need characters in the game,
We do.
And
but it was an amazing game.
The majority of them seem to come from the front row. Yes.
Strange that. But an amazing game and well played, Gloucester. I was so happy for George Skivington because he's one of the nice guys, and they came so close in so many games last season, and so to see them get that one under their belt.
Although I did feel for him because when he was doing his post-match interview, it was almost like, I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
I've got to have practice.
Yes. Hang on. What do I say? Yeah.
Yes.
So, but well played.
Yes. So, it was a cracking game with some comedy tries, and it was, and well done to Christian Wade. Christian Wade is a fierce competitor. He seems to have lightened up a bit because he was all terribly intense when he played for Wasps.
Yes.
But he seems to have lightened up a bit. So, well played to the guys. I think it's going to be a fun season. And Bristol, yet again, their mercurial selves, what the hell?
Yeah.
Really, really frustrating for their supporters. But,
Well, but we've all been there. We've all been there.
Oh, we've been there. Yes, with knobs
and we'll be again.
Yes,
and
I'm sure we will. I'm absolutely sure we will.
We have already, let's face it.
Yes. And to those that are yet again are getting slightly bent out of shape over yesterday and Bath, calmness, please. It's only a game. And it's meant to be, you're meant to go to enjoy it, not to torture yourselves. Yeah.
And it is going to be a close season.
If we thought last season was close, I think this season is going to be...
I think so.
It is going to be literally the roller coaster ride. Yeah, and you take your wins when you can get them. And, we could be... there are several teams looking at, Exeter, Sale, really good teams who are looking at 2 losses. Well, as Liz Tyler said to us in the middle of the week, we lost the first 2 games last season. We came back and won it. So, there's a lot of rugby to be played.
Open. Absolutely open. Yeah. So we will just wait and see. I was surprised at the Sarries win over Sale. I was surprised at the scoreline. I thought that would be tighter.
Well, I think Sale during the game lost several players. I mean, their injury.
I've not drilled into it. Yeah.
I think Ben Curry had to go off. I mean, it was all
Oh, okay.
So it's not a good time for them. And Miss Lazowski has stopped being a whinging Nana that got himself sent off and seemed to have did something useful yesterday.
Yes, seem to have calmed down. Have they remembered they're supposed to be friends?
He's
the back line and
Sarries. Useful to the equation. Anyway, I'm sure we'll.
Right. So upwards and onwards onto Friday night.
Yeah, I think that was episode 41. Yes, 41, ladies and gentlemen.
41
of Ladies Wot Pod. Bye.
Bye, everybody.